From broke to boss, I flipped the script. Super Trucker Podcast got me fully equipped. Left the noise behind, now I'm stacking green. Voyager Nation made me live the dream.
First-time owner-operator, here are a few big-ticket items that you should definitely consider as a cost. So we're going to go right to the top of the key and get started. Pay-to-play load boards.
Well, if you're just an owner-operator, I don't think that's a money wisely spent unless you're on your own authority. Then you have to have it. One of the challenges that is out there, most of those free load boards, they're just a trash, like kind of like almost how would you call it, like demo versions.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we're not very effective. Something a lot more expensive, then you obviously like DAT and stuff, you got to have an authority to have like a full package, and that stuff can be very expensive. We're talking, right now, I don't even know how much per seat, but I would say like we go into hundreds per seat a month.
Yeah. Self-funded breakdowns, man, that's a big one.
Well, but that's a reality. That's your business. So of course it is self-funded. There is no other way. You can fund it yourself, or you can get a loan, put it on a credit card. But at the end of the day, the equipment will break down from time to time. I would not, if you properly maintain equipment and you take care of that, the major breakdowns are not very common. However, we do happen. I'm not mechanically inclined enough to give that type of advice, but however, financially speaking, there are certain breakdowns that I would consider changing the truck over going through that type of breakdown, such as engine overhaul. But yeah, you obviously run your business, you have your truck, and you want to keep it well maintained and functional. And yeah, you have to be responsible for the cost of maintaining your equipment, unless you have a mom. Then
the next one is unpaid time. A lot of guys get into the business for the freedom, and
I don't even understand how that works. But I think it's just emotional employee mindset. If you struggling with unpaid time, for example, you're taking your truck to the shop over a weekend and now you feel like, somebody owes you something for it, you're not in a business mindset. Don't be an owner-operator. Be a driver, and there is going to be no such thing as unpaid time. If you work for a decent company, but outside of that, that's your business, that's your baby, that's your dream, that should be everything for you, and that's the only way for that to be successful.
Yeah, and I mean, and you have to understand that your baby's going to come with a couple things, such as unstable revenue flow, like especially depending on how you behave.
But again, that's not the baby that's going to become with unstable flow. That's you as a parent of that baby gonna create unstable flow, because one thing is a fact, and I'm being called out on this all the time, but I refuse to buy into that mindset. When people are saying, the trucking is so bad that there is no way to do business.
Right.
I buy into the sentiment that sometimes things are not as good as we could be. As a matter of fact, sometimes it's not very exciting to be in trucking. You don't feel like you're killing it every single week. However, as an owner-operator, if you have your crap together, $2,500 should be a bare minimum that you need to take home every week. I'm talking about net. And no matter how bad it gets in trucking, if you give it 100% to your business, to your baby, you will make that money no matter how you spin it. Everything else is either you're not hustling enough, or you're doing other things wrong, that sometimes it can be something very easy to fix, but you need to be open for it to be able to hear it and to fix it.
Yeah, because part of that too is going to be having that open idea to, as these owner operators enter the market, how your fuel economy will also influence
Bigly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that goes down to your driving style. You just mentioned the other day tires, all of that.
But the individual, for example, I had at least one truck that had the fuel economy issues, and man, I've tried everything to make it better, and I achieved a workable project. It was never something that I would want to repeat. But at least it was workable. So I did not ignore it. That was my biggest headache.
Right.
My head was spinning around it, and I just would refuse to let it go. And one thing that throws me off quite a bit is how many owner-operators I have asked about the fuel economy of their truck, and we don't know.
Right, yeah.
So you cannot fix that.
No, you can't. But that's what this is about: getting people to look at what sometimes escapes their mind. They're so excited about starting a new venture, buying that truck. It looks sweet, a little chrome on it, and no one's asking. Hey,
because at least this, first of all, you should be the one actually pointing it out to yourself as an owner operator. But if somebody ever points out your fuel economy to you, it is not to hide, that it is not to hide facts that the freight is cheap. It is not to hide the fact that the economy is garbage. It is not to attack you personally. It's something that you want to hear. How many times I pointed out to an owner-operator that his fuel economy is 3.2 miles per gallon.
Ouch.
That is mission impossible. I can tell you right now. If that's your fuel economy, consistent, mission impossible. It's over. You need some major changes, total business overhaul yesterday.
Yeah.
For anything good to happen to this. And what's the most common answer I would get if that was a conversation starter? If the loads were paying enough, that wouldn't be a question. It doesn't matter how much a load they're paying. If you're throwing money out the window, what's the purpose of making it?
Yeah, for sure.
So at least, and I get it, I'm not here to attack somebody. I'm just here to point out, hey man, there are options. You can actually make that fuel economy better. Because usually that's the same guy that's bragging that, unless he is running 75 miles per hour, somehow he's late everywhere. It's just that mindset.
Yeah.
Holy crap, is this real? $4,000 a week in this market, guys? This is not a joke. We got plenty of owner-operators in this market taking home $4,000 a week every single week. So if you're interested in something like this, we're located right here in Mulberry, Florida, just a few miles south of Lakeland. Give us a call, 863-342-5171, because $4,000 take home after all the expenses, that's nothing to laugh at.
And as you guys are looking around for that carrier to lease on, right? There's escrow deductions and fee traps. Break that down, because just because somebody has an escrow, don't look for that company that has the cheapest escrow. That shouldn't be what you're looking at. It should be the product of what you're looking at and understanding why they have an escrow.
I would say look at the escrow, but look at what's being offered and what includes what. So, for example, we did that comparison of different pay packages between the companies, right?
Yeah.
And something that looks so awesome on the surface is actually unbelievably bad. So how easy that 15% turns into you actually paying them 45% if you pay attention to the details. And then, you're surprised that you're not making money. Of course. How could you?
Yeah, well, exactly. You also got to pay attention to, because these first-time owner-operators, especially, coming from these company driving positions, you've kind of been probably protected and nurtured from your dispatcher, customer freight, yada, yada, yada. broker games and their manipulations. Even just now, load got canceled. You got to be prepared for your dispatcher to fight for you, get that truck order not used, and reload you. That's going to be part of the fight. But also, I have run into times where the new owner operator doesn't really understand the rules of the game, that this shit does happen.
Yeah, and then something that should be, all right, get me another load and make sure you get that broker with a truck order not used, so I get paid.
Right.
And you carry on. How often that turns into totally destructive mindset, and then, nah, man, just send me home, man. Like this is not gonna work. Like, what the hell, man? Like, you're tripping over the most solvable problem in the world.
Yeah, but it's so especially guys coming from that drop and hook stuff and all, and very big meg carrier gear.
If somebody is saying that there are no problems with drop and hook,
plenty of problems anywhere.
The problems are all over the place. It's called trucking.
Yep,
and that's what's up.
And you got trailer wear and tear, my people.
That's another, I would add that to the fee trap and everything else, because again, one of the challenges is that people are not really paying attention to what's important. People not hearing what we should be hearing, and people are hearing what we want to hear. So just because you want this specific thing to go like that, it doesn't mean that it's going to go like that. You gotta be very, very realistic. So, for example, a lot of companies, and again, different business model. Nothing against them. We gotta protect their business, right? So, for example, the owner operator pay package is built around very low percentage, but then that's being compensated by a lot of fees. And for example, let's just talk about just the trailer for a second, right? The companies that you are renting the trailer from, so now you are taking that trailer, you're paying for that trailer weekly or monthly, whatever that thing is, right? And you are fully responsible for that trailer, which means breakdowns, tear and wear, everything. I remember back in the day, and this scenario that I'm gonna provide, that's a relationship between the trucking company and the trailer rental company. But when you're an owner operator going for one of those packages where you're actually renting a trailer from the carrier,
right,
it's exactly the same. It's no different. So how most of the trailers, let's say we picked up a trailer at the rental place, and at the time when we're returning that trailer, on the average, I would say there are about $4,500 on the average, not all, of money owed. Because let's say you pick up a trailer with brand new tires, brand new brakes, or just a brand new trailer, straight out of factory, right? Mm-hmm. All that is being measured. And when you are returning it, it is expected to be in the same shape, exactly. And there is obviously, it's calculated, how much money every 1/32 of brakes or 1/32 of tires is. So if you're returning, let's say that you picked up a brand new trailer from a rental place, and now you're returning it, and let's just say with all the recaps all of a sudden, you owe new tires to that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if they're brand new recaps. That's not
yes, that's it. Those are gonna be replaced, and you will be charged for it. Let's say you're returning it with virgin tires, and that are let's say we still have 70% left, right? So you will, assuming that those tires are acceptable brand and we are virgin. Now you are responsible for the cost of those 30% that has been used up.
Right. Yep.
And all that very easily generates, as I said, on the average, after you're returning a new trailer, and we're talking about fleet. So let's just say on the average through 20 trailers. So I assume some trailers came back without any fees because we just happened to came back right after the tires was changed again,
Right.
and the brakes
Perfect
was changed.
timing.
So perfect timing. So that trailer just comes in with a few minor scratches, and I'm not talking about dents or any, I'm talking about scratches that are reasonably acceptable as a normal work use. No normal company is going to charge you for that.
Yeah.
But as long as there is no holes, no major dents or anything like that, new tires, new brakes, no fees. And some trailers came back with, let's say, 50% left on the tires, 45% left on the brakes. So now we would owe them for whatever.
Yeah, just as before, same thing, like the 30%. Yep.
Used, whatever piece of brakes used, any dents, this, that. So 20 trailers coming back generates around $4,500 of extra fees when returning it after, let's just say, 2-3 years.
That's a lot of money, man.
And that also means that it does not mean that those trailers didn't break down, that things were not fixed on those trailers. All this cost is on us.
Yeah.
So if you're an owner operator, renting that trailer from your carrier, now all that cost is on you.
Absolutely. So that's something to think about. And, another one that gets underestimated is going to be tax liability. You have to have a plan. Be smart. We're not tax guys. We don't want any Uncle Sam coming here for us, but you have a plan, because I've had people call me going through some audits and miscalculating some numbers and pretty painful.
Well, yeah, the accounting, this is why I would suggest always, have a good accountant. Again, I'm a trucker, I'm not an accountant, so I can't advise on that. Maybe one thing that I can point out, in your business, make sure you keep all the receipts, so you can use all the write-offs that you can. And then, by the way, if you have an accountant, make sure that accountant actually specializes on truckers.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of little things that applies to you as a truck driver, or we specialize in this trucking business, so we know about all the deductions, how to properly present them, and everything else. So do that. And the biggest challenge is people coming from employee mindset. So we go from W-2 to 1099, and now we forget that
it's not all yours.
It's not all yours. Yeah.
All right. So now we got some habits, guys, some good, bad habits, but we're talking about the expensive habits. Like a lot of guys are always going to want to wait for that perfect storm, that perfect load, and too much of that creates downtime. And there are plenty of habits that you don't want to develop.
Like what? Drugs, hookers.
Yeah, that could be, or is especially procrastinating on the maintenance, just like we talked about.
Yeah.
We if you're gonna head out on that Monday, we gotta head out on that Monday. Don't shorten your week by waiting for that perfect storm to get out of Florida. You want to make sure that you're pre-tripping. Like those habits, catch all those things early, and if you don't and you get complacent and now you're getting put out of service on the side of the road, it just costs you tons of money.
Yeah, again, it just common sense. Run your business like it's a business. Make reasonable, good decisions. Nobody paid anybody ever for just having a business. Your business must be able to provide the service for somebody to pay you, right?
Yes, right.
And that's just common sense, I think, because when you said habits, I was like. Gambling, drugs, hookers.
Yeah, I mean those are habits too, but
those are good habits.
but we talk about those day-to-day things that become habits, man. It could be as silly as those guys that have that bad habit for no real reason, just abusing PC, and now it will cost you.
Yeah, and sometimes you may not get caught for a little bit, but that one day when you will, especially if it's a bad day. That can cost you everything that you ever worked for,
and all because of tunnel vision for that one event, that one load, that one home time. You get that tunnel vision. So,
however you structure your business, make sure it's consistent and repeatable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you always have to gamble in order to make money, maybe that's not a business to be in.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
All right. So for all the first-time owner operators out there, I hope this helps. Maybe you had all of this checked off. Maybe not, and it helped you out. It's 863-342-5171.
Best tracking company for owner operators in Central Florida.
Let's go, my people.
Take care.
Operators looking for the best business owner opportunity, look no further. I got all the programs that are going to make you successful. Everything to operating from 2 different fuel cards, top of the line trailers with a maintenance program that is unbeatable, to plates, insurance, you name it, we got it. All you got to do is give us a call, 863-342-5171. Learn more and get started.